Welcome to another Euro Goodness unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at Resafa by Vladimir Suhi and published by Rio Grande Games, who are kind enough to supply this review copy of this game. So let's take a look. Vladimir Suhi is one of our favorite designers, so we're very excited to try this. We've played almost all of his games since Pulsar, I believe. And they're all very good. Okay, so on the back of the box here, you see the game being laid out, how it's going to look when you set up to play the game, and then all the components are listed on the back of the box, which is nice. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. All right. So first thing up we have is the rule book. Okay. Actually, I like this size rule book, that it's not a big square that fills it. They can be a little unwieldy. Okay. So you have, let's do this. It's better. Okay. So up top you have all the components. This is the game setup here, this page. And then some individual player setup over here. And then the game overview, gameplay, how the different rounds work. So the game's played over 6 rounds, I believe. All right. And then what you do on your turn here, the color actions. So you have, your cards have different colors, and the direction that you play the card determines the color that you use, which allows you to either move up on tracks or to gain cards, which is a really interesting mechanic. I'm excited to explore that. Special cards, talking about the different tracks down here. Yeah, the different card types. Okay. Workshops. So these are the buildings that you can build that allow you to gain resources, and you can trigger them via different actions. Nice big example box here explaining how that works. The production, so how to actually trigger the buildings and to get the benefits of them. And then another big example here explaining this. This is nice. Provisions, okay. This is talking about the garden construction. So in between these workshop tiles that kind of form I guess like a checkerboard pattern here. You can build these garden tiles, which are kind of like an oasis kind of look to them in between. And it talks about how to gain these, the bonuses, and then some nice examples for how they work. And then the last, the other mechanic here is like building the canals. So you have this like sideboard where you're building these canals and directing rainwater towards the to the bottom of the canal area, scoring some points and triggering some bonuses. And so this is how this works. Plenty of examples explaining all the bonus tiles. Oh, and then this covers the trading, so the aspect of moving around the map with the goods, trading them for benefits, how that works with loading up camels. So there's a good amount going on in this game, but plenty of like side examples, good explanations of everything. So rulebook looks really clear. And then the end of the round here, what you do cleanup wise at the end of the round. And then there's like a rain scoring phase, and then talking about examples for how the canal scores. And then there's end of game scoring here with plenty of examples. And then there's a solo mode over here, which I think is more or less kind of a beat your own score over here. And then it's more of like a blocking kind of solo mode where you just kind of flip over some cards and then it blocks and it moves up on tracks, competes, and maybe removes some of the cards and flips some of the locations on the board to compete with you. Okay, and then yeah, that's it. And then the end of game, and then talking about the different icons that you find on the cards. So they seem like they're all explained here, which is nice. And then a big icon guide on the back here for all the different icons that you're going to come across in the game, and explaining how I think all the different cards maybe work for the different colors. They're all printed here on the back. So yeah, so it seems fairly thinky. So a good amount going on, but well explained. So looks good. All right, let's see. Let's dig in here. We got lots and lots of bags, which is wonderful and always appreciated. Okay, let's take a look at, we got some cards here. Take a look at those in a minute. All right, so first we got some, I guess these are the markers for the canal board. So these are like the little rain markers. So they're just like little blue cubes to mark them. And then disc for your player colors here. I guess these are probably for the score track actually. And then just a plain wooden disc for the round marker. So nothing extravagant, but you know, gets the job done. So that's those. Okay. And then we have player cubes. So you got green, red, yellow, black. These are just standard cubes. I think they're the exact same size as the blue cubes over there. So these just like match your player colors. So pretty standard, but looks fine. And then we have the camels, which are pretty neat. There's a camel in each color here. There's a red, black, green, and yellow for the player colors. And they have like little slots in them, so they can hold these goods tiles. They're like little square chits that have the different goods, and then your camel only has 3 slots on them, and so they are limited in carrying capacity based on physical and component limitations, but also I think there's a track that you mark on your player board that also determines what you can take as far as goods. So these are pretty cool. It's kind of a neat way to move around the board and keep track of components that you're allowed to have with you at the time. All right, and then we have a big sheet here. My understanding is this is just all the cards that are in the game. So if you're interested if what cards are in each deck, because I think when you gain a card, you're allowed to either take maybe the top card that's on the deck, or you can maybe look through and then choose one yourself. So you can see what cards are available that might work for your strategy. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the game board over here. Okay, nice. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. And then we have some punch board. All right. So we got coins over here. We got the garden tiles. And then, yeah, just some more tokens over here. And then these are the different goods tiles as well. It's the first player marker, and then these are the canal bonus tiles. So, yeah. So corporate's a little thin, but, you know, our experience is that everything that we've had from Delicious Games and Rio Grande Games holds up well. So not really an issue. Okay. All right. We got some more goods up here, and then some of the workshop here as well. Okay, so looks nice. Okay, more workshops, more goods, lots of components in this game. Cool. And then now you have some player boards here. So these are the player boards, and then some more of these garden tiles here. Oh, nice artwork on the back too. Okay, and 2 more player boards, more tiles. Okay. And then these are all the canal tiles. So these are based on, they're in the different player colors so that each player has, I think, the same distribution of tiles that they're allowed to place on the board. And then these are the locations that go out on the different like cities where you can trade. And they're double-sided so that sometimes there's a better benefit for delivering something, and sometimes a better benefit for, I guess, buying something from them. And then each time they're interacted with, they kind of flip back and forth, which is kind of cool mechanic. I kind of like that. So, yep. So those are those. And then I guess we'll go through the cards real quick. I don't know if there's a tear strip. I might have to just open this. So these are like the mini cards. These are the different like cards that you can gain, the colored ones. Okay. Cards are quite thin. Yeah, the cards are really thin, but I'm sure that they will hold up fine. I have had very few issues, even with thin cards actually being a problem. So as long as you treat your games well, then they'll just hold up fine. And if you're a little rougher on your games, you might want to consider sleeving them. Okay, so those are those cards. Okay, these are setup cards for the canals. Okay, so based on player count, different neutral setups, I guess, for the tokens that are on the board. These are special provision cards. Okay, I think so. You can gain these. I think you can opt to take one of these instead of a colored card when you play one. And then these are like the action cards with the top and bottom actions and the two colors. Yeah, these are cool. And then there's the pink cards. So iconography is very clear on them, and there's a little reference number up here, so you can look on the back of the rule book if you have any questions on how it works, and they're printed up right on the back of the rule book. So really convenient. So pink cards, and then the white cards. The white cards I think are instants. The pink are end of game cards. I think they score at the end of the game. So each color card deck I think works a little bit differently. Let's see here, and then I think there's also the cards seem to be tiered as well. So I think there's like era 1, 2, and maybe era 1 and 2 cards that you go through, so that they maybe get more powerful as the game goes on. Yellow cards, okay, or the pink cards. These are the cards that go into display. They're not the cards that you gain from the tracks, I think. Okay, very cool. Artwork on them is actually really nice. Yeah, nothing like super fancy, but the artwork is, yeah, I actually like it. It's very like hand painted looking to it, so it's nice. All right, and the last little deck over here. Okay. Yep, so some more action cards. Oh, these have the letter on the back. So these are like, I think, the starting player cards. The other ones might have been the solo bot before. And then these are more of the Era 1 blue cards, Era 2 blue cards that trigger. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, so I mean, I think the cards are fine. I don't know. People sometimes overreact to cards that aren't super thick. All right, and then we have the main game board here. So this is pretty cool. All right, so I think there's a 1 and, yeah, so there's a 1 and 2 player side. So this is the 1 and 2 player side, and then there's a 3 and 4 side, which I'm not really sure what it actually looks like the canal area is bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5 on this side, and it's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4 on this side. So it's a little bit smaller on this side. So I'll show off the 1 to 2 player side, because that's the side that we'll be playing with. This is quite a large board, so it's a 6-fold board here. I guess I will slide this around so that you can see the whole board, because it's quite large. Okay, so up here you have, obviously there's the point track around the board, but the different locations and the cities that you can move to. You have Resafa right in the middle, which is kind of your starting point for your camel that you move around the board. And then a space here for the different workshop tiles. I think there's like levels 1 and 2 workshops. And then the place for the garden tiles as well. And then this is really nice. It's I think this is an order of operations for how the scoring works during the game, or maybe at the end of the rounds here. And then you have the canal board over here. And then this is the area where you're going to be placing all your tiles, and the rainwater will come down here. And at the bottom, you have 4 different color tracks. So you have like the purple, the blue, the white, and the yellow. So yeah, so that's the main game board. It's a large board, but I think I think it looks nice. And then the colors tend to pop a little bit because it's not super vibrant. And so I think that's it. That's all the components for Resafa. So that's going to be it for this unboxing. Once again, thank you to Rio Grande Games, the publisher, for providing this this copy of the game. I am very excited to dive into it, and I will be posting my impressions, thoughts, and review on it in the future, so please look out for that. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe for more board game content, and have a nice day.